So let's start again with the banking and financial services. These are the services if services are being offered by Reserve Bank of India or services are being offered by a banking company to basic saving bank deposit account holders under Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, or services are being offered by way of extending deposits, loans or advances, or regarding purchase of any foreign currency amongst banks or authorized dealers or foreign exchange or amongst banks and such dealers, then it is exempt. Also, if services are being acquired by any acquiring bank to any person in relation to settlement of an amount up to rupees 2000 in a single transaction transacted through credit card, debit card, charge card or other payment card services, then it is also exempt. Services that are being offered by an intermediary of financial services located in a multi-services special economic zone area with international financial services center status to a customer located outside India for international financial services in currencies other than Indian rupees, then also it is exempt. So the banking and financial service sector is covering a number of areas which are exempt. Services that are being provided by any financial service agency located in special economic zone area or international financial service center area, then it is exempt. So now let's discuss about pension fund. It is a very small topic. Under the pension scheme, if any services are being offered by way of collection of contribution under the Atal Pension Yojana or services by way of collection of contribution under any pension scheme of the state government, then it is wholly exempt. So it's just like a very small topic. You have to remember that any pension scheme that is being run or offered by the state government, or if any scheme is being registered under the Atal Pension Yojana. So now next we shall discuss about the specified bodies. There is a list of specified bodies if we talk about, that is if services are being offered by Employee State Insurance Corporation or by Employee Provident Fund or by Coal Mines Provident Fund Organization or under the National Pension Scheme to its members, then it is exempt. Services that are also being offered under the IRDA scheme, Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority of India, to their insurers, this service is also exempt. And if services are being offered by SEBI, Stock Exchange, for protecting the interest of investors and to promote the development or regulate the security market, then this is also covered over here. So it is covering ESI, EPF, Coal Mine Provident Fund Organization, NPS, IRDAI and SEBI. So you need to remember just these 6 words. If any services are being offered by them to their members, then it is exempt under the scenario. Now let's discuss about the general insurance businesses. That is, if general insurance business services are being offered under the following schemes. I am just naming these schemes as it was not possible to cover all the names of schemes over here. The name of schemes are Hut Insurance Scheme, Cattle Insurance under Swaran Jayanti Gram Swarojgar Yojana, Scheme for Insurance of Tribals, Janta Personal Accidental Policy and Gramin Accident Policy, Group Personal Accident Policy for Self-Employed Women, Agricultural Pump Set and Failed Well Insurance, Restructured Weather-Based Crop Insurance Scheme, Jan Arogya Bima Policy, Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, Pilot Schemes on Seed Crop Insurance, Central Sector Scheme on Cattle Insurance, Universal Health Insurance Scheme, Rashtriya Swasthya Bima Yojana, Coconut Palm Insurance Scheme, Pradhan Mantri Suraksha Bima Yojana, Nirmaya Health Insurance Scheme implemented by the trust constituted under the provisions of the National Trust for the Welfare of Persons with Autism, Cerebral Palsy, Mental Retardation and Multiple Disabilities. So these are the list of the schemes and the yojanas that are being run by the Indian government. If any services are being offered by them, then they are fully exempt. Also, if services by way of reinsurance of insurance scheme is being offered, then also it is covered and it is exempt over here. Now, let's start with healthcare services. So, under healthcare, we are covering 3 segments. The healthcare is talking about animals and birds, the healthcare is talking about human beings, and it is also talking about the cord blood, the stem cell. So, if any services are being offered by veterinary clinic, clinic where animals and birds are visited and they are if they are injured, then they are cured over there. So, if any services are being offered by a veterinary clinic in relation to health care of animals or birds, or services are being offered by way of healthcare services by a clinical establishment, an authorized medical practitioner, or services are being provided by way of transportation of patient in an ambulance other than specified above. Specified above means clinical establishment. So, if any services are being provided by veterinary clinic or by clinical establishment, or ambulance services are being offered, or services are being provided by the cord blood bank by way of preserving your stem cell, then all these services are free and wholly exempt from GST. So, no GST shall be levied on them. So, by this we have discussed about many services. Now, let's start with the next service, which is business facilitator / correspondent. Here the services are being provided by the following persons. So, the persons are business facilitator or business correspondent, or any person or any intermediary of any business facilitator, and they are rendering services to any banking company in relation to their rural accounts, their rural branches, or in relation to any insurance company for their rural areas. Basically, these facilitators are helping the banking and insurance sector for settling their accounts which are located in the rural areas and running their rural branches. So, if any services are being offered by the facilitator to the banking or to the insurance company in regarding to their rural sector, then these services are exempt from GST. So, the next topic is the services which are being provided to government. We have already discussed about the services which government was offering. So, this point is all about where government is receiving services. So, if any services are being provided as a pure agent to the central, state, union territory or local authority, or to any government authority or government entity by the panchayats or by municipalities, or if any composite supplies are being provided or rendered to government, or services which are being provided by the fair price shops, the shops where you get ration, where food grains or kerosene or sugar or edible oils are being sold under the public distribution scheme, or any scheme under any insurance scheme. Services are being provided to the government or under any training program, or services which are usually provided by the Goods and Service Tax Network, GSTN. So, all these services are exempt. So, if you are covered under if you are a fair price shop owner, or if you are rendering or providing composite supply of goods or services to government, or you are acting as a pure agent to the government, or providing services under any insurance or training program, then all these services are exempt. So, no tax shall be levied on any of them. Now, let's start with the next topic, which is leasing services. If any upfront amount, which is known as premium, salami or cost price, are payable in respect of services by way of granting of long-term lease of 30 years or more to the regarding industrial plots or plots for development of infrastructure for financial businesses and so on, then it is exempt. Or services of leasing of assets by the Indian Railway Finance Corporation to the Indian Railways, this is also exempt. So, these leasing services are exempt, which are covering upfront amount regarding infrastructure, or if we are talking about the railways. So, these two services are covered under this head. So next we come up with legal services. So services are being offered by any arbitral tribunal or by any partnership firm or by any senior advocate. So if out of these three, if anyone is providing any services, then it is taxable. Then it is exempt. So if arbitral tribunal is rendering services to any person other than business entity, or if they are rendering to any business entity, then the aggregate turnover of business entity should not exceed rupees 20 lakh or 10 lakh in case of special category states in the preceding financial year. Or if they are rendering services to central, state or union territory or government authority or government entity, then it is exempt. Similarly, if any partnership firm of advocates or individual as an advocate is rendering services, legal services to advocates or partnership firm of advocates or to any person other than business entity, or if it's a business entity, then the aggregate turnover should be up to 20 or 10 lakh as the case may be in the preceding financial year, or rendering to CGSG, union territory, local authority, government authority or government entity, then it is exempt. Last but not the least, where a senior advocate is rendering legal services to any person other than business entity or to any business entity whose aggregate turnover is up to rupees 20 or 10 lakh in the preceding financial year, or to CGST, union territory, local authority, government authority or government entity, then it is exempt. So you have to remember three names, that is arbitral tribunal, partnership firm of advocates or individual as an advocate, or a senior advocate. These 3 points are covered under the head of legal services. Now, next we talk about sponsorship of sports event. So if services are being offered by way of sponsorship of sports event which are being organized by National Sports Federation or by Association of Indian Universities or Inter-University Sports Board, All India Sport Council, or by the Central Civil Service Culture and Sports Board, or as a part of National Games by the Indian Olympic Association or under the Panchayat Yuva Krida or Khel Abhiyan scheme. So these are the names of the various schemes and the boards and the federations which are working in the areas of sports. So if services are being offered by way of sponsorship of sporting events which are being organized by these bodies, so whosoever is sponsoring the event, that person is not liable to pay GST. That is, there is a GST exemption in that scenario. All right. Next, we shall move towards skill development services. Again, there is a list of skill development corporations and councils which have been framed, schemes which are running. So if services are being offered by National Skill Development Corporation, Sector Skill Council, National Skill Development Corporation under the Sector Skill Council or Assessment Agency, or as a training partner in relation to skill development, then it is exempt. Services in relation to assessing bodies who are empaneled centrally by the Directorate General of Training, Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship by way of assessments under the Skill Development Initiative Scheme, it is also exempt. Or if services are being provided by training providers under Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gramin Kaushalya Yojana, which is being implemented by the Ministry of Rural Development, Government of India, by way of offering skill or vocational training courses certified by the National Council for Vocational Training. So these all services are exempt. I know it is very difficult to remember all these skills, but once you will start reading and when you will read for around 2 or 3 times, you will get a hand over it. Next is about performance by an artist, where services are being offered by an artist by way of performance in folk or classical art, forms of music, dance or theatre, and if the consideration charged for the performance is not more than 1,50,000, remember this amount, then it is exempt from GST. That is, up to rupees 1,50,000 it is exempt, otherwise it is taxable. Also, if you are offering service, that is, service are being offered by an artist as a brand ambassador, then it is also exempt. It's a good point to be remembered. Finally, we are left with 3 more services. The next one is right to admission to various events. So services, if you are going to view or visit any museum, any national park, wildlife sanctuary, zoo, tiger reserve, any place which is where monuments are found, ancient archaeological collection is being found, then it is wholly exempt. Along with it, if you are going to look at a circus, or you are taking admission in any dance, or watching any theatrical performance, ballet dance, attending any award function, any sporting events, then also it is exempt. Along with it, if any sporting events are being organized by recognized sports bodies, then also it is covered in this and it is exempt. Next is all about services by an. So the next point is services by an unincorporated body or non-profit entity. Where in any unincorporated body or non-profit entity is offering any services to its members by way of reimbursement of charges or share of contribution as a trade union, or for provision for carrying out any activity which is exempt from the levy of GST, or up to an amount of rupees 7,500 per month per member for sourcing of goods or services from a third person from the common use of its members in a housing society or a residential complex, or services are being provided by an unincorporated body or non-profit entity registered under any law for time being in force engaged in activities relating to the welfare of industries or agricultural labor of or farmers, promoting any trade, commerce, industries or agriculture, art, science, literature, culture, sports, education, social welfare, charitable activities and protection of environment to its members against consideration in the form of membership fee up to an amount of rupees 1,000 per member per year. So this is the limit where up to which no GST shall be levied. So last but not the least, we are on the last topic which talks about other exempt services. I know it's a very long list to be remembered, but you can remember some of the items out of it, like if I talk about services by way of renting of residential dwelling for use as residence. If you are using a place for residence itself, then no GST shall be levied. If you are providing any services which are in association with transit of cargo to Nepal and Bhutan, then it is exempt. If services are being rendered by way of transfer of a going concern as a whole or an independent part thereof, or services are being rendered in relation to hire in respect of transport, services by way of access to any road or bridge on payment of toll charges. So if toll charges are being levied, then no GST will be levied on you. Services by way of access to any road, bridge on payment of NUT. If you are entering any road or any bridge, then you are paying around 5 rupee or 10 rupee charges which they charge for crossing a road or a bridge, then in that case no GST will be levied. If electricity services are being offered by the electricity department, the meter they provide, the rental charges which they charge from you, so on that no GST will be levied. It would be like double taxation in that case, in that scenario. Services which are being provided by the Food Safety and Standard Authority of India to food business operators, like if you want to get an approval of FSSAI, then you get yourself your products tested by them, you obtain a license, you get a registration. On these services no GST is levied. Where services are being provided by way of collecting or providing news by an independent journalist, Press Trust of India, your United Trust News of India, then also it is exempt. The public libraries, business exhibitions, these all other activities are also exempt. So you can go through the other exempt list. Although I tried to wind up the entire topic within a span of around 50 minutes. But still I know that it is very difficult to memorize and remember all the exam services. I'll be attaching the notes of all the topics along with the video. So please go through the notes. It was very difficult for me to incorporate all the points into the slides, into the PPTs. So I tried to minimize it just for the sake you can understand it in a proper way. By this we have ended and we have completed our exempt service section also, that is section 11. From the next unit we will be discussing about section 12. By then, goodbye. Thank you.